Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing fine on this Tuesday. It's only Tuesday, for goodness sake. It's only Tuesday. Tuesday morning, guys. Thank you so much. Wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for joining me from all four corners of the globe. You know, that's what it's all about, guys. We are international. Manchester United are international. Our fan base is international. Absolutely fantastic, isn't it, guys? Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, guys, for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, guys, please. And please don't forget to smash a like. If you could just smash a like, just takes a little twiddle of the finger. That's all. You know, I know you like twiddling your fingers, but guys, thank you so much anyway. Really appreciate that. Let's get straight into it. In regards to Gyokeres, I'm going to get the name right. Gyokeres, because I got slaughtered the other day. Gyokeres, whatever it is. Gyokeres wants to sign for Manchester United. Guys, it is seen that Ruben Amorim and Gyokeres have been speaking for weeks. Now, guys, we all know what I've been saying on this channel. Ruben Amorim and Gyokeres have been speaking for a long time. And Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon have been speaking for a long time in regards to the deal with Gyokeres. This is partly why a lot of teams have stayed away from Gyokeres. It isn't because of his talent and all this rubbish that we keep hearing that, you know, he's overrated, he's not good enough, blah. Well, look, at the end of the day, where this comes from, and let me bring in Pearl. Big up, Pearl. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Absolutely. Pearl, look, you know, what I would say in regards to fans, right? Fans who want to downplay a player, right? What do you want this player to do to be deemed a great player? Now, the guy has scored 49 goals. He can't do any more than that. He has also scored in the Champions League, right? Now, what can the guy do more than that? We didn't hear these rumblings when Hojlund was signing for Man City, did we? When Hojlund was signing for Man City, no one was talking about how Hojlund played in the Bundesliga. He played in the Farmers League. You know, we could have easily said that Hojlund is the new Rasmus. And even that Rasmus team to me is disrespectful for fans who don't know what they're talking about. For me, when they talk like this, when they talk like this respectfully, they talk like this from a place of fear, not a place of logic. When people downplay a player of the likes of Gyokeres or Hojlund or anyone of that nature, it comes from a place of fear. It's more like you want the player to fail rather than you think the player is actually going to foul. They want him to foul. So they're trying to save face. This is what they're doing. This is what they do, right? They try to save face. I remember we signed Andy Cole. I remember we signed Wayne Rooney. All these players, right? Overrated, not good enough. He's not going to recreate that form at Manchester United. He's not going to do this. He's not going to do that. And we all know what happened. No, it doesn't always work out. But you've got to look at the facts here, the context, the facts. This guy is a 26-year-old scoring goals for fun, right? He's going to come into a Manchester United side, which includes Ruben Amorim, who he knows very well, and just fit in like a knife to butter. You know, at the end of the day, a hand to a glove, basically. So when the rival fans do say this nonsense, all I would say is that take it as a compliment, because at the end of the day, they don't know diddly squat in regards to what Gyokeres is going to do, what he's not going to do. The only thing they can guarantee right now is the facts. The facts is Gyokeres one of, if not the highest scorer in Europe? Yes, he is. Is he one of the most sought after strikers in Europe? Yes, he is. Did he do it in the Champions League? Yes, he did. You know, and there you go. And even with the Portuguese league, and when people talk about the Portuguese league in a derogatory fashion, the Portuguese look at Portugal. Portugal produced world-class players. Portugal produced great players. That's what I would say about that. So my advice to people who want to respond to people who are downplaying a player like Gyokeres, if they're not going to rate Gyokeres, who on earth are they going to rate? Right? Because at the end of the day, Sesko has 13 goals in 33 appearances in Bundesliga. Right? 13. Florian Wirtz has 10 goals in 27 appearances in Bundesliga. You know, Mbeumo has 20 in the Premier League. Cunha has 15 in the Premier League. Gyokeres has 49. You know what I mean? So it's still nonsense, and it comes from a place of fear, in my opinion. Absolutely. And to be honest with you, I love it because they're irritated. I love it because they're annoyed. I love it because they're irritated, and they can't take that Man United might be back. You know, they can't take that it might be the sleeping giant might be back. You know, they can't have it at the end of the day, and let them cry. Absolutely, Bill. Big up Sam Houston, you legend. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Sam Houston. Houston, love the name. I know that's probably your surname, but Houston, love the city. Big up Houston, massive, by the way. Love it. Most hospitable place I've ever been on earth is Houston, Texas. Absolute amazing place. I went to Webster. I went to a place called Webster. You know where the spaceships are and all that? Absolutely amazing. She filmed a music video over there. It was brilliant. But you know what? Hopefully Man United will be off to space next season, and we'll be passing the clouds into the sky, off to the moon, guys. That's what we want at the end of the day in regards to Man United. We want Man United to improve next season, and I firmly believe we will. And this is, again, where the fear is coming from in regards to this fan base. Not this fan base, but some of the fan base. But anyway, in regards to the rival fan base, this is where it's coming from, a place of fear that we are. Big up, Randy. What's going on, my friend? How you doing, sir? Are we getting these crap players out of our club? I hope it is the last tier, at least 10. Cheers, mate. What I would say, Randall, you know what would make me very happy, Randall? If we got rid of Rashford, Anthony, Sancho, Luke Shaw. If we got rid of those 4 players, I'm telling you right now, I will throw a party online on this stream because those 4 players are going to be extremely difficult to get rid of. Extremely difficult to get rid of. Those players there. I would throw a party online, guys. Honestly, honest to God. You know what I mean? And, I think we need to get rid of a few players like that. Those are the ones that we need to get rid of. Garnacho and Anthony probably will leave anyway. They're probably, because obviously Anthony's gone away and done very well. Fair play to him. He's gone out there. He's done very well. He's scored goals, and he's wanted by a number of clubs. Garnacho as well, wanted by a number of clubs. In regards to Rashford and Sancho, they flattered to deceive last season. As much as the hype was going on, oh, they're doing so well. They really wasn't. They really wasn't. Rashford wasn't doing too well. I mean, at the end of the day, what did he score? 2 goals or something like that? Come on, guys. At the end of the day, it was all hype, and that's why Aston Villa don't want to keep him, guys. So there you go. And that is going to be a problem. So if we manage to get rid of Rashford, if we manage to get rid of Sancho, I think that would be an absolute success for Manchester United, you know. As I said yesterday, Man United can spend money anyway. Man United can make spend up to 250 million with the FFP and PSR not being affected. If they go over that amount of money, then it starts getting affected, and that's when we have to start selling players, of course, guys. But in regards to Gyokeres, of course, I did say, I've been saying it for weeks, Man United are in constant contact with Sporting Lisbon and Gyokeres. In particular, Ruben Amorim is in constant contact with Gyokeres. And this has been a key in regards to Manchester United possibly signing him. Of course, things can change. Things can change. It just takes a team like PSG, a team like Real Madrid, a team like Chelsea even, or a team like a team in Italy, for example, Juventus, who want him, for him to sway his head because of Champions League football. But I just think that he's made his choice. He wants to play under Ruben Amorim, and fair enough. And hopefully he will be at the football club very soon. He wants to come to Manchester United, which is the good thing. It's the good thing. The only thing that could be done is he could be persuaded to go elsewhere. But I believe he will be coming to Man United. We've been saying it for a long time that he'll be coming to Manchester United. Of course, there was the rumours that he might go to Arsenal. Of course, that obviously you have to look into that seriously because Arsenal are not a bad football club and they're in the Champions League. So we had to look at that pretty seriously. But it does look like happily he's chosen Manchester United, which is great. And we're just waiting for it. The Mbeumo deal, in regards to Mbeumo, obviously that has slowed down somewhat. There was news about Brentford entourage going on holiday, of course, wrong timing, of course, but also the news that Thomas Frank will be going to Tottenham Hotspur has sort of unsettled the ship a little bit. No, Mbeumo, that doesn't mean Mbeumo's going to Tottenham. All that rumours was absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. It was going to happen, wasn't it? As soon as Thomas Frank goes to Tottenham, there you are. We're going to get the Mbeumo links. But Mbeumo's chosen Manchester United. The slowing down of the process has happened because of the managerial change. Hopefully, it won't drag on too long. I really do hope we get a deal today. Because it is the end of the transfer window today, of course. 7 p.m., I believe, UK time, it ends. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But obviously, we want to get this deal done and dusted so we can get on with the Gyokeres deal and focus on that one. If we get those 3 players in, we've already got Cunha. If we get Mbeumo and Gyokeres, then we're going to be looking like a right machine next season. And I'm telling you what, right, this will be one of the most fearful trios in world football. I think that people are laughing at us saying, oh, they're overrated, they're this. I would love to know who they rate then. Who do you rate? Who do you rate? If you're not rating Cunha, you're not rating Mbeumo, you're not rating Gyokeres, who are you rating at the end of the day? That's what I would say. Let's get into some of your comments. Big up Sanjay. How you doing, you legend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Denbo, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. We didn't expect this transfer to happening with no European football, but Ineos and Amram mean business. What I would say, Denbo, look, you have to deal with it like the fact that we are Manchester United at the end of the day. We should be spending money. But that's not to say that players should sign for Manchester United purely based on the name. They have done a good job, Ineos, in regards to that so far. Hopefully, we get them through the door. We got Cunha. We've only got 1 at the moment. Hopefully, we get them through the door. Then you cannot argue with them. Then you cannot argue with what they've done. If they can manage to do that, it's not only about we're Manchester United. We should be spending money. I know that. We should be attracting players because of name, but we're not Manchester United, if you know what I mean. So to get these players through the door, you have to applaud when it's right to applaud. I would like you to applaud me when I get things right. I would like you to criticize me when I get things wrong. That's life. I would applaud Ineos, Vivel, Wilcox, Barada. If they can get on Gyokeres, Mbeumo, Cunha, maybe getting a midfielder as well and a new goalkeeper, we will be swimming in positivity, guys. Because at the end of the day, I don't like coming on this channel talking about our football team in a negative light. I like talking about positivity. I like positivity. My whole life, I base myself around positivity and believing in things that otherwise other people would think it can never be done. At the end of the day. And I like to think in a positive way. I don't want to think about the ownership. I never used to think about the ownership during the 90s, with Peter Kenyon and all these guys. I never, David Gill and all these guys. I never used to think about the negatives. I never used to do that. And because I didn't think about the ownership, because we were successful on the pitch. Ultimately, all we care about is what happens on the pitch, if we're successful on the pitch. And I believe that is what we have to, hopefully. Big up, Anvesh. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. The Dapper in red, wear United kit in front of the Kings Villa in Abu Dhabi, shouting, go Man United. Man United kit right here in Abu Dhabi, guys. Bleed red, guys. Bleed red. Manchester United all day long. I walk around in my Manchester United kit. I'm going back to London in July, but I'm going to Italy first to do some work. I'm going back to London in July. I'm going to get all my Man United kits. I'm going to get them all. Absolutely. I might even do a competition for you guys. Maybe you can win some. I've got a couple of signed ones and stuff like that. So, you wouldn't want my old Man United tops, would you? I've got a couple of signed ones. So maybe I could do a competition, guys, when I get them over here in Abu Dhabi. Problem with Abu Dhabi, the post isn't as good as other places and stuff like that. So I don't want to lose it. Absolutely. So, but I'm going to go back to London and grab them and put them in my suitcase, of course. So hopefully, we could do some fun things and I can start wearing some more Man United jerseys and stuff like that, of course. Absolutely. And Bish, Sal, what's the hold up in Bremer? Here we go. Why are we talking so long to wrap that up good as we want Gyokeres now? Look, as I just said, it is to do with Thomas Frank. The Thomas Frank managerial problem, managerial change is going to take obviously some time. So in regards to Brentford, they are focusing on the Thomas Frank situation, which has obviously slowed things down somewhat. Of course, the new manager coming into Brentford obviously probably doesn't want to sell Mbeumo. Obviously, that's going to have to be communicated that he's going to have to go. He's leaving. So he probably knows he's leaving. So all this communication stuff and that has slowed things down. The holiday for Brentford, apparently, Brentford officials was ridiculous in regards to that. So, probably because of that, it slowed down. But I really do hope we get some news today. Something positive, because we've been waiting a long time. But if it doesn't go through, even though we'll be disappointed today, the window does open again on the 16th of June. So hopefully that we'll get things sorted. I really hope we get things sorted. Absolutely. It would be great. It would be great. That would be great. I need that mug. You know that mug? That would be great. Absolutely. It would be great at the end of the day, especially on Breaking Dawn. That would be great. Absolutely, guys. But as I said, guys, I mentioned it a while ago in regards to Gyokeres, and now Mr. Fabrizio Romano is been talking in regards to that. Fabrizio Romano, Manchester United keep calling on a daily basis for Viktor Gyökeres, still on their list. Juventus and Al Hilal have also called in the last 40 years. Situation and Arsenal contacts ongoing since May, but with Sesko advancing. There you go, guys, and that is something that I mentioned ages ago, guys. Look, I'm not saying that I know more. But, you know, I did mention it a long time ago, of course. And, you know, hopefully this deal will get done very soon. But hopefully, just as importantly, we hope we get the Mbeumo deal done as well, guys. That's important as well. Of course, guys, let's read through some of these messages. Let's go back in time, way back in time. Good morning, EK. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Happiness. Absolutely happiness to see you, my friend. Good to see you, mate. Ellen, what's going on? Good morning, my friend. Good, happy sunshine morning to you. Gav, Arsenal Al Hilal are still there. Yesterday, a Man United journalist was on TalkSport saying that he had a meeting with a high op people last week, and he has not in and was said about Gyokeres. There wouldn't be, Gav. There'd probably be an agreement to not say anything about Gyokeres at the moment. That is probably what has happened, Gav. It depends who the official is. Generally, the officials don't go on radio talking about, proper officials don't go on radio talking about transfers. That doesn't happen. But according to what I know, that Ruben Amorim has been speaking to Gyokeres and his entourage for a while now, weeks, if not months, guys. I will tell you that right now, they have, and they know each other well. Some may say they're friends, you know. So obviously, this is an important factor. You know, this is an important factor. So let's keep it, play it by ear. I don't think it's going to go through anytime soon. I don't think it's going to happen this next couple of days, for example, or this transfer window. I believe Mbeumo will be the first one through the door, and then we're going to be concentrating on Gyokeres. Manchester United are favourites, according to all the bookies out there, to capture Gyokeres, of course, guys. Absolutely. Big up, Grayo. What's going on? I hope you had a great birthday, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're well. Back home after a weekend away and roaring to go. Please, everyone, smash the like button. Thank you so much, Grayo. Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing good, my friend. Hope you're doing good. Of course, Natty by choice, Natty by nature. What's going on? Good morning, sir. Shame on Sporting to do that. Yeah, look. Obviously, there was news that circulated yesterday about Gyokeres removing Sporting Lisbon from his Instagram accounts and his social media accounts. That is true. He has. There obviously was some kind of fallout in regards to those two. But obviously, look, I don't want us to fall out with Sporting Lisbon. I don't. One thing I don't want to do is us to fall out with Sporting Lisbon. Gyokeres, the problem with Gyokeres, as I've said many times, Manchester United have a gentleman's agreement with Gyokeres camp. Okay, so they have a gentleman's agreement. This is something, as you know, those who've been tuning into the show, I've been saying gentleman's agreement, gentleman's agreement, gentleman's agreement. The grievance from Gyokeres is that he believes that Sporting Lisbon are breaking the gentleman's agreement because he wants this deal done and dusted. Man United want to get the deals over the line quickly. And Ruben Amorim, of course, wants his players ready for the pre-season. This is where the disgruntlement has happened because of this, you know. So it is a gentleman's agreement, and the gentleman's agreement is something we've been talking about a long time, that they do speak to each other. Man United are in constant communication with Sporting Lisbon. Ruben Amorim's in constant communication with Gyokeres, and this is going to rumble on. It is not ideal that, you know what, there is a little bit of hostilities going on in regards to this. It's not ideal, of course. We don't want any hostilities. We just want the deal to be done. I firmly believe the deal will be done. I firmly believe that Mbeumo deal will be done. And then, but this time, you know, hopefully this time next month, we will have our deals already done. The old transfers will come in, and that will make a refreshing change for Manchester United, because usually we wait, you know, in regards to Ugarte, for example. How long did we wait for Ugarte? It took ages for Ugarte to get over the line, and he did get a full preseason, of course, which was obviously bad, of course. Gav, Andy Mitten was the journalist who said he had a meeting last week with people high up who didn't mention Gyokeres. They won't mention Gyokeres to him, Gav. They won't mention Gyokeres. They will not mention Gyokeres. I like Andy Mitten. I like his book. I like his fanzine. But they're not going to talk about it. No. There is obviously disclosure in regards to that. There is obviously, basically secretive things that go on within these talks. They're just not anyone can get to know the information. They're not going to say anything at the moment. Even if he did tell Andy Mitten, he probably has a disclosure agreement, not to say anything. So I would take that with a big dose of salt. Guys, I would take that with a big dose of salt in regards to Andy Mitten. Andy Mitten, the journalist, of course, a read review and all that, of course. But don't take everything literally. Don't take it. They're certainly not going to go to TalkSport and talk about it. TalkSport don't like Manchester United. Let me tell you that. TalkSport hate Manchester United, and they're not going to be saying anything, of course. Anvesh, hearing many saying that United should not fumble Rodrigo Moura from Portugal seems like a highly talented player. There are many players that we've mentioned on this show, my friend Anvesh. Lots of players that we mentioned on the show over the last few months. Some of them I mentioned like almost a year ago, and now people are starting to talk about him. Like, for example, AC Milan's youth player, Francesco Kamada, and people like that, who I mentioned over a year ago, right? So you're going to get names coming out in regards to Manchester United. Dorgu came out of Stretford Post first. I said it on here. And there's going to be names which are going to be floated about now. Manchester United have over 100 players that we are interested in. Doesn't mean that Man United are going to go out there and sign every single one of those players. They're not, but there are talented players out there. If we go out there and look, we can most finally find one. We'll find one, hopefully. Natty, Gyokeres did it in the Champions League before he went to Portugal. He did it in European Champions League. Absolutely. He did it. He did it in England. But people would tell me, oh, look, it's Coventry. No, he did it in England. He did it at Portugal in the high league in Sporting Lisbon. Sporting Lisbon were doing it in the Champions League. Sporting Lisbon smashed up Man City 4-1, didn't they? The last time I checked, didn't they smash up Man City 4-1? And Gyokeres was absolutely fantastic in that game. Good morning, my friend Nico. What's going on, my friend? You're watching from, shall I say, Kenya. Is it? Big up, Kenya, massive. Big up, Nico. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Gyokeres did it in the Championship and did it in the Champions League. Absolutely, Natty. Big up, my friend. Big up. People questioning Gyokeres' ability when they employ Rasmus Ducking Hojlund. I don't think it's so much Manchester United. Let's not clown our players, my friend. Rasmus Hojlund, regardless of what we think about him, he's a Manchester United player for now. I know he's probably a lot of people may think that he's not good enough, and that's fine, But you know what? Let's not downplay our players. Let's not feed into that narrative. You know what the media want you to do? They want Man United fans to talk like this. They want us to slander our players. Whether we think they're good or not, let's try not to go into that realms of slanderous behavior in regards to verbally and our players. Because at the end of the day, they are our players, right? Whatever we think about them, let them think about how bad he is, how crap he is, whatever people want to say about him. We're not going to do that here. So what I would say in regards to Gyokeres, as I've said earlier in the show, all the hatred and slanderous behavior and verbal diarrhea, which I call it, is coming from a place of fear. That's where it's coming from. They don't want Manchester United to come back. They don't want to be praising Man United every single week. They don't want to go on TalkSport and start saying nice things about Man United. Can you imagine? God forbid they might have to start saying nice things about Manchester United. Wouldn't that be a turn up for the books? TalkSport, ESPN FC, talking about Manchester United in a glowing light. Wouldn't that be funny, wouldn't it? So let them talk slanderous about our players. We don't talk slanderous about our players. Even if we don't like a certain player, we don't do that, because at the end of the day, we got enough people out there who do that sort of thing. Big up. MEOC forever. Good to see you, mate. Talking from airport, big up, South by. Take it easy, moments if you have safe travels, my guy. Enjoy yourself. Love it, mate. Big up. Mbeumo, just been talking about him, Natty. Just been talking about him, of course. Mentioned him, of course. Absolutely. Guys, hit live. Big up Nico. Big Nico. What's going on, my friend? Absolutely. Big up, my friend. Sal, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Positive Gyokeres news. Finally. There's always going to be an inkling of negativity. Of course, there's going to be an inkling of negativity. That comes from a place of they don't want it to happen. A lot of people don't want it to happen. It isn't settled yet. It's not done yet. But the fact that Gyokeres wants to join United is a big plus for us. Like the Switzerland flag. A big plus. There you go. Hopefully, absolutely. Can't wait for it. Good morning, Earth-fan. How you doing, legend? How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing good. Sal, if we sign Gyokeres, he knows Ruben Amorim, he will be there next season. Exactly. Gyokeres moving from Sporting Lisbon to Manchester United is going to be a smooth transition, isn't it? It's going to be like, moving to seeing your like long-lost friend. You know what I mean? That's what it's going to be like. It will help him. And we're still Manchester United at the end of the day. Gyokeres is old enough to remember who Manchester United are, just about. So I would say that, it would be a good move for him coming to Manchester United. It would be a good move to him. Obviously, there was links to Juventus and things. I think that Juventus would be a huge mistake going to Juventus. I don't think Juventus are the Juventus of the past. I really don't. And I think it'd be making a mistake to go to Serie A, in my opinion. But the favourites are Manchester United. Timo, good morning. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing fine, my friend. Just bringing out the positivity, spreading the love, spreading the positivity, just like Timo is. Big up, Timo. Thank you so much for joining the stream. Of course, a member of Stretford Post. Don't forget you can become a member. This summer, we got great content coming, guys. Wait for it. Lots of great content coming for you guys. Absolutely. Big up, Timo. Saviour, what's going on? How are you, sir? Good to see you, sir, my friend. Kunya Gyokeres and Mbeumo up front. Manuel finished top 4 following that from Zambia. Big up Zambia. Big up the family from Zambia. Big up. Hopefully, I'll be hitting Africa very soon, guys. Do some streams down there, guys. Absolutely would be fantastic. But yeah, look, that front line, I would say top 4. I would say top 4. Some people saying top 8. I think that is criminal. That trio alone would be absolutely fantastic next season. I'm banking on it, guys. I'm banking on it being fantastic next season. We're going to be strong next season, and I think we all need to be positive, of course. Dabby says, people logic. It's not my player. I chose, and the other player is bad. Exactly, Dabby. This is what I've been saying. There are people out there who have their favorite players. There are people who prefer a certain player. So when we don't sign their favorite player, they like to slander another player. We don't do that. At the end of the day, this is Ruben Amorim's choice. This is Ruben Amorim's team, and we support that. Regardless what player I want, regardless what player you want, it's all about who we sign. And who we sign, we have to believe it's going to work because it is Ruben Amorim. And if it doesn't work, then you know what happens, doesn't it? Managers live by the decisions, they die by decisions. But this isn't just Ruben Amorim's choice. This is also the entourage Wilcox, Berarda, Brailsford, Vivell. This is them as well. They're the ones doing it as well. Dan, whoever United are buying or interested in, all the haters come out with the same old, he's not good enough, etc. Love was Gav, I'm old enough to remember the 90s, mate. I'm old enough to remember Andy Cole. I'm old enough to remember Wayne Rooney. I'm old enough to remember even the likes of Brian Robson and players of that ilk when they were being downplayed and they were being like, too much money for him and stuff like that. He's not that good, is it worth it? I've heard it all my life, and basically all we have to do is let the actions do the talking. And I'm sure Gyokeres and Mbeumo and Cunha, etc., hopefully we get more players, will let the action do the talking. The media talking in a negative light in regards to Manchester United is nothing new to me because at the end of the day, I'm seeing Liam Delap go to Chelsea getting 200 bags a week, when he's not even proven, to score more than 12 goals last season. 12 goals last season. Is that too much money to pay for Liam Delap? 30-odd million. It's a lot of money, isn't it, for a player who is not really prolific, a player who got relegated with Ipswich Town. Why don't they talk about that? Why don't they talk about how Arsenal are going after a player like Sesko, who scored 13 goals in 33 appearances in the Bundesliga? Why don't they do that? It's hated or never ignored, isn't it, at the end of the day? And this is what they do every single time. They just want to downplay our players. Throughout history, they want to downplay our players. When they pick the top 11, they want to downplay our players. We're never in the top 11. Our players are never even in the top 11, even though we dominated football for 20-odd years. The Premier League, we dominated. Since this is just them, let them hate on. Let them feel the pain. We have upset their childhoods in the past. We have made them cry during their life, probably a lot of times, more times than not. We have obviously contributed to them spending a lot of money on tissues for their tears. So don't worry about it. Drink it in and let them cry and let them hate. Because at the end of the day, you know what? They would be hating anyway, even if we signed anyone, whoever we sign. We could possibly go out there and get Lamine Yamal. They'll be crying about it as well. They'll be saying, is he worth that? Is he overrated? They'll do the same thing. And when we all know he isn't. They did it with a lot of players, even Ronaldo, Irfan, I would like to have our season starting with 3 soft games. It's been tough draws for the last 3 years, just to settle game. I agree, Irfan. I think confidence is very important. You know, when you get into that confidence, you need that momentum. I think Man United have had difficult games. We've had the likes of Brighton, haven't we? Tottenham, didn't we have? We've had some difficult games over the last years. Arsenal, we had as well. And not forgetting that. So, I would like a nice, easy game to start off with. I really would. Last season, Fulham, it was okay. Fulham is not the easiest game. We just about squeezed through. We got a 1-0 win, Xerxes in the last minute. It was tough, though. Fulham are no mugs. So I would like to get a promoted team first. Someone like that. Home and away, promoted team, great. And we get off to a winning start. I've got a feeling we're going to play Leeds. I don't know where it's come from, but I've got a feeling we're going to play Leeds, guys. I don't know where it's coming. I just got this image of us drawing Leeds, Big up, Irfan. Natty, we do praise for doing business. What we have to do is we have to see year in, year out, the business we did is good. We do not have to go to the top. We do not have to go to the top. Big up, Natty, big up. Sal and chat, big up, British Bulldog. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. What matters is that we are better than last season, and the players who leave or come in, we can't control transfer windows. We are always stressful. Have a little patience and see how we go. Exactly, Gav. That one thing I would say, Gav. Right. One thing I would say is that don't get your blood pressure up. Don't get stressed out. What will be will be. At the end of the day, we're making positive movements. Positive noises are coming out of Man United, and that's a positive. We take the positive, and that's what we see. We cannot control what happens in the transfer market. We can give our opinion. We can make a voice, but my main thing is don't stress until it's over. Let's see when we get our pre-season on the 19th of July. We got Leeds United in the pre-season game, and then let's see what happens after that. Hopefully we got most of the players in, if not all the players. And then obviously if we don't get all the players, if we're severely short, if we've only signed Cunha or Mbeumo and Cunha, then we're going to say, well, that's not enough, isn't it? And we can start stressing. But for now, let's see what happens and let's see where we go, of course. Absolutely. Big up, Gav, my friend. Good to see you, mate. Timo. Wilcox was on holiday in Greece last week, so things are not moving. I mean, one thing about it, Timo, is that Man United do have a habit of going on holiday, especially people that are important on our negotiation stuff. They do like to go on holiday. We had that during the Murto madness, whatever, and the Woodward days when they would go to Barcelona. We'd be thinking, oh, they're going to Barcelona, they're going to get a deal done, blah, blah, blah. And then they come back with nothing because they just went there to go on holiday. That's what we don't want. Look, I'm not saying that Wilcox isn't entitled to a holiday, but I am saying that a lot of work needs to be done. We need work to be done. There's so much work that needs to be done. Players leaving, players coming in. We need to get a step on. We really do. If we get Mbeumo and Cunha today, if it gets sewn up today, then I would say, great. That's good. Good start. You know what I mean? Now move on. That's what I would say. But if we don't get Mbeumo, we're going to drag this on until next week, and it might even go into the 20th something of June. And that's what I don't want. I want us to get things moving so we can also get players out as well, because getting rid of players is just important as bringing players in. Especially the Sanchos and the Rashfords and the Antonys, and the Garnachos and the Shaws. We need to try and do something to get these players out, It's not all about raising funds. It's not only about that. It's also about thinking about the team morale, thinking about the toxicity within the dressing room and stuff like that. We need players to leave just so that they don't come back and be a negative impact on the dressing room. And that's what I would say. So hopefully Wilcox comes back from his little holiday and we can get things done quickly because we have a lot of work to do, of course. Big up, Timo, my friend. Irfan, we must also be mindful that they will come up with all sorts of stories to derail us. Just block out the noise out and keep us informed. Big up, Irfan. That's what we do. That's what we do on here, Irfan. We block out the noise. We don't really let it bother us. We let the haters hate. I actually enjoy it, Irfan. I actually enjoy it because I look at it and I got a little smirk on my face because I look at them and I'm thinking to myself, well, you're only doing that because you're scared, you're jealous. Look, check it out. Peep the game, Peep the game. That's all it is. Peep why are they doing that. At the end of the day, when Cristiano Ronaldo was on the pitch, people used to boo Cristiano Ronaldo. When David Beckham was on the pitch, people used to boo David Beckham. Why do they boo them? Is it because they're crap or is it because they're really good and they fear them? It's because they're really good and they fear them. That's why we were hated, because they fear us. We cause them a lot of pain, and that's what it is at the end of the day, So let them hate. Hate on. Absolutely. Secret haters. That's what you are. Never be on our level. Oh, goodness me. That's a good one, isn't it? It's from Secret Lovers. Remember that song? Absolutely. Sal, do you rate Thomas Frank? I don't know, Natty. I don't know. I'm not going to talk too much about Thomas Frank because I haven't seen him at a bigger club. There are managers out there who do suit smaller clubs better than bigger clubs. For example, Brentford is Thomas Frank's team. And Thomas Frank, let's be honest, he's done a remarkable job at Brentford. Fantastic job at Brentford, you know. And what I would say is that now it depends on what happens at Tottenham. Tottenham is a team that is probably one of the most difficult teams to manage because Tottenham's expectations are higher than who they are. You know, they have the expectations of Real Madrid, but the actual success of Stoke City. So that's the problem with Tottenham Hotspur. You know, this is why I was extremely upset we lost that final. Really upset we lost that final. Oh, man, I'll never live that down. Vaughan, what's going on, my friend? What's going on? And here we go with the hatred, guys. Here we go. What nonsense is this channel? What did this top-tier journalist say about Mbeumo deal? Vaughan, what a nonsense. What nonsense. I don't know, Lee. Lee, what nonsense are you talking about, my friend? It's okay, mate. Life is not that bad, brother. Life is not that bad. We've had great people on this channel, from ex-professionals to journalists, everyone. We speak to a lot of people on this channel. And we've also got big journalists and big footballers coming on this channel very soon. Respected, 20 years in music, 20 years in football, my friend Vaughan. So that's why I talk about this nonsense that you're talking about, my friend. But listen, let me tell you a little story about life, mate. When you wake up in the morning, try and smile a little bit, brush your teeth, come on the stream and be happy. Because at the end of the day, you could be somewhere else in a difficult situation, not being able to eat, not being able to drink. Enjoy it. Enjoy the news. Enjoy the channel. We got a great community here, Vaughan, Mr. Vaughan Lee, or Lee Vaughan. But so at the end of the day, take it easy, brother, and enjoy your day. Peace upon you, my guy. Absolutely. Ellen, they won't say what they are thinking and working on to a journalist. I actually like that is the less leaks. Exactly, Ellen. Man United have changed the philosophy in regards to that, in regards to the leaks. The leaks are what kept giving us problems before. You know what I've always learned in life? When you plan something, when you're planning something, right? When you're planning something huge, right? I don't talk about it until it gets done. Don't talk about it till it gets done, because at the end of the day, there's always some bad vibes or bad juju what comes out and wants to wish bad on you and wish, for example, you know, and that's why I tend to keep things quiet, you know, and don't over talk about it. You know, talk about it with your loved ones secretly, but nothing else, you know? And that's what we're doing now. Not talking about the deal until it is bloody set in stone. You know, and that's what I like. Absolutely. Absolutely, of course. Irfan, in their contractual agreement and negotiation, whether it's successful or not, there's always an NDA in place. Absolutely, Irfan. There you go. Absolutely. It has to be. It has to be. Some people just say to you, you can't say this, you can't say that. You're not allowed to say this, you're not allowed to say that. Otherwise, it's a breach of contract. And that's what it is. Good morning, Randy. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Ellen, I like that Aidan Hackney. I know that we're in for him. I needed someone with his qualities. I'm not sure, Ellen. What I would say is that we have to be extremely cautious in regards to championship players, right? We all know what happens to Premier League teams when they get from the championship, don't we? They go down more times than not. So I would say that it's an extremely talented player, but I would like to see him in the Premier League, maybe be on loan at someone in the Premier League and see what happens. Because at the end of the day, players coming from the championship is hard to tell. It's hard to tell how good they really are. I remember loads of players coming from the championship, you know, and smashing it up in the championship and not doing it. But that's not to say that he won't, you know. I trust that we have scouted him. I trust that. But at the end of the day, we've only been scouting him when he's been playing championship football, you know. So I would like to see him in the Premier League. I really would. But obviously, hopefully he becomes a great player. And hopefully he's at Man United. Of course, big up my friend, Morris. What's going on, Morris Nathaniel? Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing good. Glory, glory, Man United. That's what I like. The glory, glory, Man United. Come in. First comment, glory, glory, Man United. That is what we're all about, guys. We're all about the vibes. We're all about picking it up and believing, guys. That's what it's all about. We are hoping those two deals go through before the season. One love to bless up, Morris. Morris. My guy, thank you so much. Bless up you too. I hope you have a splendid day and a wonderful day, my friend. Big up yourself. Thank you for joining. We have to say, stay united. We can't hate our own players. The opposite fans hate enough. We have enough haters, absolutely, Ellen. Whether we rate these players or we don't rate these players, boy, oh boy, we've got enough hatred as it is, guys. Hold on, I got to just order this. Okay, dokie. Yeah, I had to order some shopping. I forgot it. The Reds keep marching on. Absolutely. Big up, Randy. Much respect and much love, brother. Exactly, Ellen. Big up, Ellen. Big up, Ellen. Thank you, mate. Thank you, my guy, my friend. Thanks for the positivity, Sal. You're breaking my heart today. Block out all the noise and smile at your rivals. They are desperate to downplay us. Mate, Earthfan, this year, I've had a heartbreaking year. I've had one of the worst years of my life, at the end of the day. I've had things that, in life, things can turn around and bite you on the backside. You can think that everything is going well. You can think that everything's going beautiful, but with Man United, things have gone really bad in my personal life and stuff like that with my family and stuff. But this is life. So when we get an inkling of positivity, football's a positive in life. Football's a positive. I don't come on here, waste my time. I don't come in here and start talking nonsense, because at the end of the day, if I come on here and speak nonsense, people are going to expose me for talking nonsense. The reason that, we have this platform is because we don't speak nonsense. The reason we have this platform is because we got a lot of things right. We have, and at the end of the day, everything doesn't go right. Things happen in life. Look at Thomas Frank. Who would have known that a week ago, Thomas Frank won't be Brentford manager, he'd be Tottenham manager? None of us would have known that, would be. That's the thing with football. Football changes all the time, and football can delay things all the time. So when people come on their negative, on their self-righteousness, I don't understand it at the end of the day. I really don't. And it's always good to be positive. And you know what? At the end of the day, we're only human beings, and with you being human, we're going to make mistakes. We're being human, at the end of the day, we're going to be sad sometimes, and we're going to be angry sometimes. But one thing I would say is that get up on the right side of the bed, feel positive. We're alive today. We're talking about Manchester United, alhamdulillah, as we say, and that is what we're going to do, guys. We're going to enjoy it. We're going to enjoy this summer, and hopefully Man United get the work done. They're going to get the work done, and we're going to keep going, guys, because Man United next season, I'm banking on Man United. I'm not banking, I'm not gambling, but I'm literally, metaphorically speaking, banking on Manchester United doing very well and getting that bloody top 4 position, maybe more, who knows. Me too, Randy. Absolutely. But Randy, you've been a fan for 70. You're 72 years old. So you've probably seen a lot. You know what I mean? Big up. Natty, smash the likes and subscribe, Natty. Big up, Natty. You much love to you, brother. And big up, Swan Pnil. What's going on? Valvey. Good name, my friend. Full Valvey's going today. Big up, Valvey. How you doing? Hello, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hello, hi. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hello, hi. Sal, if we sign a striker, what is your next priority? For me, obviously Mbeumo, Gyokeres and Cunha come in. Given that happens, I would say goalkeeper. I would. Sorry, but I would. I know that there's a lot of people who still like Onana. I know there's a lot of people who still want Onana. I just say that we need to concentrate on the goalkeeper. I think that is a very important position. And then it'll be the midfield and the right wing back position. In Buckdo, what's going on? Mickey, can I call you Mickey? Good morning from Zambia. Big up Zambia, my friend. Big up Zambia. Another guy from Zambia. Big up Zambia. And Chili Bombwe. Is that how you say it? Big up Zambia. Big up my friend. Big up Africa. Much love to Africa. You know what I would say? I grew up watching African football. I grew up watching the great Nigerian side of the 1990s. I went to see the Nigerian side of the 1990s, right? That was my favorite team in Africa. That was my favorite nation, because I enjoyed JJ Okocha, Daniel Amakachi, Sunday Elisi, Taribo West, of course, these players, Nwankwo Kanu, of course, absolutely. These players I admired when I was growing up, and absolutely, brilliant players. Celestine Babiaro, who played for Chelsea as well. I know that's not Zambia, but I want to bring in Africa into the conversation, because African football has done a lot for football. At the end of the day, it's in particular Premier League football, and I would always like to bring in African football to this stream, absolutely. But big up Zambia, big up Kenya, we've had already as well, and everyone in the great continent of Africa, of course. Big up Kenny. I'm hearing United fans were saying Gyokeres ain't it. Got to ask a question. Do they even watch the games, or are they just saying it because of claims? As I said earlier, Kenny, they're saying it to save face. They're saying it to reassure themselves. They don't actually believe it. They're saying it to reassure themselves. They say it to so that we believe it. They're saying it so that basically, you know what, trying to reassure themselves that actually he's bad, hoping that he is bad. But they don't believe he's bad. They're hoping. There's a difference between believing and hoping. So they're speaking out of hope. They're not actually speaking out of logic. They're not actually speaking about facts. They're speaking out of hopes. Because at the end of the day, more times than not, we know that Gyokeres is going to be a fantastic player. Who else is going to be I would like to see who these guys rate if they don't rate Gyokeres. If they don't rate Gyokeres, who do they rate at the end of the day? You know what I mean? Guys, Randy, if people understand the 3-4 system with a proper players, they will be very excited. They would. Glenn Hoddle played something similar, you know, as well. Of course, I remember. Ellen, Ruben said in his speech that we have to stay together. We are 12th player after all. Absolutely. One of the projects is out. 1 second, guys. Oh, come on, man. There we go. Yeah, look, at the end, we are the 12th man and we have to fight together. We have to stick together. Unfortunately, there are cliques within this this fan base. There are cliques, there are cults in this fan base. There are people from sinister points of view in regards to things, to people who love the club regardless, to people who are always negative, you know, and then there's people who just go there for tourism. There is people, you know, we need to stick together as a fan base. It's very important that Man United fan base stick together because at the end of the day, as you said, Ellen, you're right. We are the 12th man. You know, we are partly the reason why we're not successful as well. We have to blame ourselves as well, you know, because negativity resonates. Negativity is an infection and it is also contagious. You know, I would say that, you know, so we have to stay together. Yale, good. Oh, let's beat City in their first game. Yale, one thing I would say, Yale, is that if we get a difficult game in the first game, if we win that game, it adds a huge amount of positivity, doesn't it? It'd be like, wow, yes. We'd be like, we beat Man City. Yes, we beat Man City. Even though they shouldn't even be around, they should be charged for their charges and stuff like that and pay for their crimes, of course. Absolutely. Mbeumo, what's going on? Good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Mbeumo, big up Mbeumo. Guys, as I said earlier in the show, my friend Mbeumo, Mbeumo deal has stalled a little bit because of the Thomas Frank situation. That is why it's stalling. It's still going to go through, literally going to go through. When it happens, it's going to happen. Hopefully today we get some noise in regards to Mbeumo deal. Hopefully we get some news in regards to Mbeumo deal. But one thing I'm pretty certain it will happen. If it doesn't happen, because life slaps you on the face sometimes, we move on. But it does look highly probable that Mbeumo will be a Manchester United player very soon. Should have happened already, but context, you know, stipulations, all this stuff has happened. Brentford going on holiday and all that stuff. And also Thomas Frank going to Tottenham, which is happening as well. Mutane, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see Mutane Padan. Good to see you, my friend. Silver Strain. Should I call you Silver Strain? Big up. Hopefully you're not a strain. Hopefully. Welcome to Stretford Post, my guy. Great to have a lot of positivity on your podcast, bro. Love it and sub already. Thank you so much, Mutane. There's too much negativity going around. We just have to be a little bit more positive. What is done is done. It's gone to the side. We pull it to the one side. It's there. It's gone. Pull it under the carpet. It's gone. Forget about it. Forget about it. Forget about it. It's gone. You know what? We had one of the worst results we've ever had in regards to Tottenham Hotspur. Okay, one of the worst final I've ever witnessed. But okay, it's done. We take the hit. We take the slap on the face. You know what I mean? And then we just move on. That's what we got to do. And we just need to look at things more brightly and try and be positive for next season because there is a lot of positivity coming out of Man United at the moment. There is a lot of noise coming out of Man United. Can you imagine we were Tottenham? Nothing is happening. You're just sacking your manager. Nothing is happening. You're getting Thomas Frank, an unproven manager, in your team. Nothing is happening at Tottenham. Can you imagine them? You know, we've got to be positive, of course. Absolutely. And it's very good to have you, Mutang. Welcome to the family, my guy. Thank you so much. Irfan, Alan Pardew, I would like to see United back to the top. They are important to the English league. He's an interview with a Spurs podcast who visibly upset, paraphrasing. Yes, Irfan, the impact that Manchester United had over the years, it gets highly understated. You know, the impact that Man United have had to the Premier League. Man United, when the Premier League started back in 1992-93, the Premier League and English football in general was in the doldrums. It was in a bad way. The Premier League, there was hooliganism going on. English teams were banned for many years. Who brought the Premier League back to where it was? Who was it that brought the Premier League back to where it was? In Europe. Manchester United. It was Manchester United who brought the Premier League back to where it was. That's why the history and heritage of Manchester United is the best. Because even in the 60s, in the 50s, when no one believed in European football, no one believed in going to Europe, and we sacrificed ourselves in 1958 for those teams to thrive and to be arrogant and to be smug in Europe, right? No one talks about that, right? Because at the end of the day, if we went to Europe, we would have got points deduction if we didn't come back to play our game. Even with that, we still became the pioneers of European football. The first English team to win the European Cup in 1968, even with all the adversity that happened to Manchester United during that time, even with everyone against us. And this old bitterness in regards to Manchester United has been going on for years and decades, guys. And that is what it is. And this happens to this day. This happens to this day. So it's refreshing to see people like Alan Pardew talking about Man United in this light, because he knows how important Man United are to the Premier League. If Man United left the Premier League right now, if Man United walked away and said, we're going to do our own league, we're going to create our own league, the Premier League would die. Forget your Arsenals, forget your Liverpools, forget your Man Cities, forget your Tottenhams, forget your Chelseas. If Man United left this Premier League, the Premier League would die and would be a glorified Eredivisie, guys. Absolutely. Big up, Asif. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. In the 4-3-3 system, you have a minimum of 5 defenders attacking, 5 defending. Then the overloads come in. The overload. Absolutely, Randy. You can work the 3-4-3 system in any way you want, right? You can work it in a super attacking formation where you said 5 people are attacking at once. You can use it in a super defensive where you have 5 at the back. Exactly. And it is very versatile. You know, it is very versatile. I would say that. It's not the be-all and end-all. People know I'm a Man United fan. I like 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 4-4-2 in particular. But we have to move on. And when we move on, this is what we have to do. We have to believe it's going to work. When you get the right players, when Ruben Amorim gets the right players in his football team, you will see Man United. You will see. I've seen glimpses. Those of us who are actually watching the game have seen glimpses, and I think it will be good next season. I really do. It's going to start getting better and better. And the thing is, most teams are not going to be used to it. We're going to play against these teams, and they're not going to be used to the way we play. You know, this is what it is. This is why Man City played Sporting Lisbon and got their arse handed to them, isn't it? You know what I mean? Absolutely. Big up, Randy. Yole, the guy who talked is Hargreaves, not Wilcox, to get a deal over the line. Wilcox finds players. He does not negotiate with the players. Wilcox does not. Well, he does, really. He does find the players. That's right. He does. He's a big part of it, though, Yale. In regards to Hargreaves, in regards to talking about transfers, there is an NDA. You cannot talk about transfers before they've been done or agreed to the media, especially if you are a Manchester United official, whether that's Wilcox, whether that's Barada, whether that's Brailsford, whether that's Vivell, whether that's Jim Ratcliffe, whoever it is, you know, it doesn't really matter. You cannot talk about transfers before they've been done, especially, I mean, if we're fans, we can talk about it. The media, the journalists can leak some stuff, but Manchester United officials cannot do it. They're not allowed to do it, especially on radio stations, Talk Sports and you know, ESPN FCs, on networks that don't like us. Absolutely. But it's not inclusive of Wilcox. Wilcox finds players. Wilcox does also talk to his entourage. Let me tell you that right now. I know that for a fact, Yale. He does also talk to the entourage. He does. He is a big part of it. He is a big part of Dorgu coming, Diego Leon coming. It's a big part of it. And I know for a fact he spoke to the family of Dorgu. I know that for a fact. I know for a fact he spoke to the family of Diego Leon as well. So he's a big part of it. So we can't discount that. Mbeumo, Stanley, let's try to wrap up some Mbeumo deal so we can move on to the next one. I agree, Mbeumo. It is a blessing. Hopefully today we get something. Hopefully, we're fingers crossed we get something, my guy. Absolutely, absolutely. Good morning, Freya. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good. I don't think Wilcox is on holiday the busiest week of the year, and maybe he's working on a deal. Could be Luke Shaw in Greece. Goodness me. Yeah. Shaw is on partying in Ibiza, bruv. You know what I mean? In Spain. He's in Ibiza, I think. Give Ruben everything he needs. Absolutely, Randy. Big up, Randy. Sal, have you seen tweets on X? People saying Under United has gone so down now that they buy players from club like Brentford. Why do they forget where Cantona, Denisov, and this goes on? I mean, at the end of the day, you said it there, Asif. You said it there. Where did Liverpool buy Robinson from? Where did Liverpool buy Mane from? You know, where did they buy Henderson from? You know, do we really want to go on? Shall we go on? Where did I buy McAllister from? You know, was it Barcelona? Because it certainly wasn't. You know, at the end of the day, no, these people, they just want to bring in, they're hypocritical. And what I would like, right, I would love to go on one of these radio stations and totally shut them down with these things. Because I won't stutter. I will tell them, yeah, what about this? What about that? What about that player? What about that player? They won't know what hit them. Then they will change the subject. You know, even Simon Jordan, who swallowed a dictionary every morning, you know, even him, I would shut him up. Honestly, I would. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, because a lot of people go on these channels, they go on these radio channels and they're stuttering, they're oohing and ahhing, you know? They need to just go out there and spit the facts and be prepared, you know? Because if someone says, well, what about David Moyes? He's done it at a team like Everton. He's done it there. How comes Ruben Amorim can't do it? And guys, the Manchester United shirt is far more heavier than Everton. There's no pressure at Everton. The standards are much lower in regards to what they are expected to achieve. So you're aiming lower. So it's much higher to reach, isn't it? Just like when David Moyes went to Man United and fouled and went flat on his face because the club was too big for him. It is a big shirt, a heavy shirt, Manchester United. That's what I would say. You cannot compare Manchester United to Everton. There's context in this. Right? Manchester United are the biggest club in the world. One of the biggest clubs. Top 2 in the world, right? They're the biggest club in the world. And they are underachieving. They're probably the biggest club in the world to be underachieving. And Ruben Amorim is tasked with the duties of completely overturning the toxicity, which is extremely heavy, and bringing Man United from the depths of the sea and bringing them back up to where we belong. He's bringing up the Titanic. That's what he's doing, you know? And it's not easy, and it's not going to happen overnight. So when these journalists, they splurt their garbage about players that we're signing, they don't look at things in context. They don't look at Liam Delap. They don't look at players like Sesko. They look at players like Gyokeres, who's proven in the Champions League. One of the most proven players in Europe at the moment in regards to goals. It's disgraceful. I'm fed up with it, but this is the nature of the beast, unfortunately. Juventus are wasting their time convincing Gyokeres to join them. He's not going to join them. No, I don't think so, mate. Sal, when the Premier League scheduled to be out, I think it's going to be next week. Next week, Natty. Hopefully we get a decent draw and stuff like that. Bill, what's going on, my friend? It will take 2 windows for us to get rid of the high earners at the club. I will be happy with the top 10 this year if we get top 6, I mean. My ambitions are higher, Bill. It depends, obviously, on the window. My ambitions are very high, Bill. But I agree with you in regards to the transfer window. It's going to be extremely difficult to get rid of those players. It's probably going to be more difficult to get rid of these players than to get players in. You know, it'd probably be easier to get Gyokeres in than to get rid of Rashford or Sancho. You know, Rashford or Sancho, you can't force teams to pay for their fee. You know, you can't force teams to pay that wage, you know. Big up Bill, by the way. Bill Taylor, thank you so much for joining, my friend. Good comment. Mbeumo, we have to be the biggest fan base in the world. The hate of us is nothing. Even the most press always find a way to talk down on our club. And every single time, mate, I will be just sitting there. I used to love ESPN FC. I'll be honest, guys. I used to love ESPN FC. And I used to sit there watching ESPN FC, right? And I used to enjoy it, you know? And then I started seeing this agenda against Man United. And it used to really annoy me because they go over the top. They talk about United and negative. Even when we win. Even when we're winning, they're like, no, but you know what? You got the likes of Craig Burley, right, with his fake teeth. If you know Craig Burley, he didn't used to have any front teeth before. The claim to fame of Craig Burley is losing 4-0 to Manchester United in an FA Cup final, right? Losing 4-0 with Chelsea. That is Craig Burley's achievement, right? Losing 4-0 to Chelsea against Man United for Chelsea, right? So at the end of the day, this is why they hate us. This is why, this is why we're hot. This is why we're hot. We're hot. You hate us because we are not. This is why we're hot. You hate us because you're not. You remember that? This is why they hate us, because we have caused them a lot of pain. They are bitter about us. We took trophies from them. Let's not forget. Lots of trophies. Martin Keown, all them nonsense idiots. We took trophies for them, guys. And they're crying about it to this very, very day, of course, guys. Absolutely. Coco, now that our hearts are set on for those three players, I really hope Ineos can deliver Sal. The weight makes it even more nervy. But once we pull it off, nobody haters must they die. Let them hate and let them cry, Coco. Let them cry. Let them crawl up in a little corner because we've suffered for 13 years. We're Manchester United. We built this bloody Premier League. They need to just obviously, you know what I mean, know their role and get back in their lane. That's what they need to do. Absolutely. Great comment, my friend. Good morning, Danny Byrne. Thank you so much for joining me today, my friend. Good morning, everyone. And thank you, everyone, guys, for joining me. You absolute legends, guys. Thank you. Big up, Tybog, you legend. Good to see Tybog. Good morning, guys. Just here to say hi. Hope you're doing well. Good to see Tybog. Big up, everyone who's joined me today. Sorry I can't read through all the messages, but thank you, everyone who's joined me. That is Stretford Post for today. That's Breaking Dawn. Hopefully, we get some noise today. Don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys, basically. And don't forget to smash a like and subscribe, basically. We'll be back later on for Chatterbox. Don't forget to join me for that. Put your notifications on as well, guys. Really appreciate everyone. Have a great day, great morning, great evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. Have a lovely day and enjoy it. See you soon, guys. Glory, glory, Man United. Take it easy. Peace.